Greetings everyone, Arcimedes here, and welcome back to another brick-filled LEGO video. Today, in this, our first video of Making Connections, a series where we'll be looking at different ways and innovative ways to use our LEGO bricks and to fit them together. We'll be taking a look at something that I've dubbed the Micropeg, and its incredible possibilities in your models. So, without further ado, let's take a look, shall we? Before you get any further in this video, however, I'd like you to stand up and grab a few of these. The classic LEGO flame piece. Now, I think most of us will have a few of these in our collection. Now, I've used these in many a model as fire. However, I've always wondered what was at the tip of them. As you look, you can see there are these little nubs on the end of the brick. Little nubs sticking out in each direction. One day, I was messing around with these pieces, trying to figure out what those little dots did, when, looking in the other crevices in the flame, I found that one of those little protrusions could fit precisely into one of the slots inside the flame. Like this. As you can see, that little pin fits nicely into the right side of the flame, into one of the lowest holes. It's designed to fit this little pin. As I did more research, I learned that that pin was originally used in the Dragon Masters set to clip the flame inside the dragon's mouth. Now, I thought this was pretty neat and all. I mean, after all, if you just follow the direction the top of the flame is pointing and work your way down to the bottommost flange of the flame, that's the position where you can pop that little stud in. In fact, after clipping a bunch of them together, I found I could make a really awesome looking flame whip like this, which I plan to use in one of my future models. At first, I thought this pin was a solitary case, but as I began digging around in my LEGO collection, I began seeing more and more of these little micropins in feathers and flames and that one might place in an admiral's cap, or even here in this, the old traditional bush piece. I didn't really see how useful they would be, though. I mean, yeah, you could swap out the feathers and different characters' hats, and you could give this alien mosquitoid a weird set of ears, but I never really thought about what else these could be used for, until I began discovering a few other receivers in my LEGO collection. The LEGO telescope, for one, had a perfect hole. After all, if you saw it in some sets, it held a flame, and that little hole could hold it in place. However, that same hole can be used to fit in other of these same micropins as well. You can also use it in certain helmets and tools and a lot of different food items, including the apple, the turkey leg, and the cherries. There are also examples in both kinds of flowers, the New Age flower and the Old Age flower, and even in the lowly robot claw. There's a tiny one on one side, and this T-joint here. Even the sextant here has a couple different holes for pinning these micropins in, like in the back and the side here. Every piece displayed on this board here either has a micropin or can hold one. Now, at first glimpse, this may not seem that exciting. I mean, what am I really going to do with these micropins aside from putting a feather in my cap? Well, I did show you the example of the fire whip, which I think we can all agree looks kind of cool. However, there are some other options. For example, I made a little bush with berries on it here. Taking a few of the little LEGO cherry pieces, I pinned them onto the stems of one of these flower bush bases. I then made a few of those sub-assemblies, stacked them together, and created this little bush that you see here. Gotta say, it is kind of cute. I think this gives a nice tool for greebling, especially with these feather pieces or other of the odder, stranger pieces. They might look good as mechanical details or as a specialty piece or design. This cherry piece looks a lot like the eyes of a snail. In fact, LEGO used them like that in Gary the Snail from one of the SpongeBob sets. However, think about other things you could do with these. Can't you imagine these as scales or at the end of a weapon or something? There are so many options with each of these tiny little pieces, and now finally, you have another way to use them in your models. We've only scratched the surface, however, of the numerous pieces that have these little micropins. These are the ones that I've found, but I bet you can find examples of your own, and different ways to use them in your models. If you do in fact find some new ones, please comment me and tell me. I'll add them to the list at the end of the video. And I personally would like to know, just because I want to use them in my models. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you liked this video. I hope that it was interesting or informative, or at least that it entertained you for a little while. If you did in fact like this video, please comment, rate, or subscribe. If you didn't like this video, still, please comment and rate. And if you really want, still, please subscribe too. The point is, I want to hear what you have to say to make this channel and my video different and better. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I bid you all farewell. My name is Arcimedes36, and I'll see you next Sunday.